Hi, myself Dr.G.Tharanitharan. This is the second video series of redo manufacturing process and its type. The very first process we discussed about the stereolithography and its process and its importance. Generally, the stereolithography process, the material used is liquid form of the resin. Solidification process, we are using a laser light. But here, today we're going to discuss about the powder bed fusion. This is a process same like stereolithography, but the material, instead of liquid resin, we are using a powder form of the material. This is a basic difference between stereolithography and powder bed fusion. The powder bed fusion process includes the following commonly used printing techniques like direct laser sintering, electron beam melting, selective heat sintering, selective laser melting, selective laser sintering. Almost these are all the different varieties, different classifications of powder bed fusions. Generally, the powder bed fusion methods are use either a laser or electron beam to melt and fuse the material powder together. The electron beam melting method requires a vacuum, but it can be used with metals and alloys in creation of functional parts. All PBF process, powder bed fusion process, involve the spreading of powder over the previous layer. There are different mechanisms to enable this, including the roller saw blade, hopper or reservoir below a side of bed provides the fresh material supply. The, the direct laser sintering process, the use of metal as well as but not a plastic. The process sinters the powder layer by layer. The selective heat sintering differ from other process by way of using the heated thermal print head to fuse the powder materials together. As before, the layer are added with rollers in between the fusion of layer. The platform of lower the model accordingly. Now I am going to explain this the powder bed fusion process step by step. The very first step is we're going a layer typically 0.1 thick millimeter of material is spread over the plate. Next, the laser fuses the first cross section of the model. Next, the new layer of the powder is spreaded across the previous layer using a rollers. Next, further layers or cross sections are fused and be added. This process until repeat the entire model is created. The loose unfused powder remains in the position but is removed during the post processing. First, I am going to highlight the few techniques like selective laser sintering, selective laser melting, selective heat sintering, direct laser sintering, electron beam melting. First, we are going to start with selective laser sintering. What is generally the selective laser sintering? It's commonly you can call it as SLS process. SLS process or machines are made up of three components. Heat source to fuse the material, the method to control the heat source, and mechanism to add a new layer of material over the previous. This is basically the SLS process. The SLS process benefits from requiring no additional support structures. As a powder material provide the advocate model support throughout the building process. The building platform is within the temperature controlled chamber. The temperature is usually a few degrees below the metal melting points, reducing the dependency of the laser to fuse the layer by layer. The chamber is often filled with nitrogen to maximize the oxidation and end quality of the model. The model requires a cool down period to ensure the high tolerance and quality of fusion. Some machines monitor the temperature layer by layer and adapt the powder and wattage of the laser respectively to improve the quality of the product. This is a short glimpse about the selective laser sintering. Next very important powder bed fusion technique is most of the industries we are using a selective laser melting. Compared to SLS, the SLM is often but require use of an inert gas and high energy cost material is typically has a power energy of efficiency of 10 to 20%. This process uses either a roller or blade to spread a new layer of the powder over the previous layer. When blade is set, it is often vibrated to encourage a more even distribution of the powder. Hopper or reservoir below aside the bed previous of fresh material supply. This is a short glimpse about the selective laser melting. Next process is the very foremost and very useful process is selective heat sintering. Uses the heated thermal printed head to fuse the powder material together. As before, the layers are added with the rollers in between the fusion of layer. The process used in creating a concept prototype and less so structural component. The use of thermal printed head and not a laser benefits the process by reducing significantly the heat and power levels is required. The thermoplastic powders are used as before to support the material. This is a short glimpse about the different types of powder bed fusion techniques. These are all some highlights. Thank you.